Florida's a wacky place, though.
It is. You can talk about my boy.
Yeah. So Florida, let's go over here. Florida, it is a wacky place.
There it is. The end of the Florida Autonomous Governance Zone.
No, it's not. It's only changed this much. So he is in charge of the Reedy Creek Improvement District, which is the 25,000 acre, if I remember correctly, thing for Disney. I think it's 25,000 acres. Yeah, 25,000 acre resort. Okay. Um, but he doesn't actually like control the whole thing. So now that he called a special session of the Florida legislature. They had issues when they tried to do this last year because they were worried that the uh, surrounding districts would have to pay the taxes and the debts of that place, which would have raised taxes on regular people outside there, um, which doesn't look good for them. Uh, let's see. This time Disney would be allowed. So right now, Disney is allowed to keep its special tax district,
Okay.
almost all of its perks, including the ability to issue tax-exempt bonds and approve development plans without scrutiny from the local regulators. But Disney would no longer be able to appoint the 5 members of the tax district's board. The Florida governor gets to do that. So the Florida governor, now and in the future, gets to appoint 5 members of the tax district's board, and that is all.
Okay.
In terms of monetary impact, the changes make it possible for the board to impose taxes on Disney to help fund road improvements outside Disney World's boundaries. Sounds like fucking socialism to me. It also eliminates some Disney World exemptions from the state regulatory reviews, which could cause the cost of building projects at the resort to balloon. So, very little change,
Okay.
except for
Don't call that
the
socialism, by the
the
way.
the
What the fuck?
company the company gets charged taxes to build roads outside. And I'm being facetious. Uh, Maybe
You and I
Alex
both
Jones would call
know the
that
whole
socialism.
argument about is building roads socialism, and then people get way down the argument tree on that. And
It's it's a silly joke. Uh,
yeah, I know. I get
the
it.
no, yeah the less intelligent people would call that socialism. You're taxing the companies. Oh no, you're taxing the companies and then giving it to the people. That's wealth distribution.
The joke made me smile, but since my face isn't on camera, people can't see that, so I have to.
Okay. So yeah, socialism. I have to support Ron DeSantis now because he's a socialist. Just kidding. Um,
That look at that. What a day, boys.
um, let's see. And so this all began because of the Stop Woke Act.
Okay.
Um, he proposes it for Florida. The people who live in Florida because they work at Disney are upset and they tweet, honestly. They get woke and they talk about what's happening and they don't like it. And so they tell their boss, hey, don't support this. And so the guy that was head of Disney said, nah, it's fine. And then they all yelled and screamed at him and he got fired. And then new guy came in and said, hey, this is not fine. And then that makes DeSantis upset. Then he uses the power of government to try to harm them, I think. Uh, in my view, that's kind of what happened. A company said something that they didn't disagree with the state, and then the state went after them. But
I think
the
it's a matter of being political in the first place. The company is an entertainment company. They weighed in on a political issue. Uh, they have certain political, um, what would you call it? Things that they enjoy.
mhm,
Um,
self-governing a 25,000-acre resort.
yeah, they have
I
certain
mean,
certain things that are given to them that aren't given to everybody else.
if you
And
self-govern a 25,000-acre resort, you're political. That's all there's to it.
sure, well, I'd put it like the same way that we give tax exemptions to religious institutions, for
Hmm.
example.
Hmm.
Um, we give those exemptions, except that there's a caveat there where the religious institution is not allowed to get political about anything.
Right,
And if they do, then they run the risk of losing their tax exemption.
right. It's
So
never
that's
it's never happened and
that's
it's not
that's
enforced. But
well,
that's a
right.
completely
It's not
different
enforced,
situation.
but this to me looks like the enforcement of that against Disney. Disney got political about something. They had certain political advantages, like self-governing their resort, and then they got political, and so their exemption was taken away. Right?
Yeah, that's what happened. I
I mean,
don't.
I get it.
It,
I can see why it happened. Like fuck around and find out is what happened, and Disney fucked around.
with and the government, the state came down on them,
Uh huh.
and I don't like that idea. If a corporation is people, according to conservative thought, then this person
Stop.
then this person used their free speech, and the government came down on them. I don't think uh, corporations are people, but it is, I think, an absolute inconsistency within conservative thought.
It might be an inconsistency. I don't think it is though. I think that I don't think most conservatives even consider Citizens United as a main tenet of conservative thought. Anyway,
Okay.
I don't view conservatives or I don't view corporations as people.
Okay. So if any corporation tweets out a thing, says a thing, or disagrees with a certain law, are those governors then allowed to reassess 56-year old zoning laws and stuff like that?
Are those companies enjoying special privileges from the government that
Maybe.
are eligible to be assessed in the first place?
Maybe.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't matter how old it is. I mean, this is a Disney autonomous zone. I think that I think we both agreed that having autonomous zones for corporations is bad in the first place.
But if they're flaunting un if they're doing bad things there, then I would not be for the autonomous zone. If they created the zone just because they wanted to fast track building permits, or they didn't want streetlights right here, because look at this. Are you? This is a street. It's paved,
Right.
but it shouldn't have to have stoplights. There's a good chance that this is not up to code with stoplights, stop signs, proper signage, red painted curbs, and um, what's the word? Handicap parking spots. This spot, this space right here, and I'm okay with that because this isn't a surface street outside of somebody's house. it shouldn't
Well,
follow
yeah,
those same rules.
I'm sure that
I'm
there's
okay
got
with
to be
that.
there has to be a different classification for those roads. Like, it's not really a road; it's a walkway or something like that. That
Sure,
changes the designation and the requirements because
and
nobody
if
drives on that.
I know,
That's all
and
walking space.
if there isn't a special autonomous zone for them, they have to go through the government to get those things.
What a
Uh,
shame.
and they have to go through the government to get those building licenses and stuff like that. And I recognize that maybe they should, or maybe they shouldn't. I don't know. It's it's still kind of a bad guy fight. I don't know whose side I'm on here. I kind of want them both to
Well,
kill each
don't
other.
take a side. Nobody cares.
Okay. Um, then we'll move on. Oh, hi. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. If you liked what you saw, hit the like button, press the subscribe button. Uh, if you want to tell me how right I am, feel free to leave a comment. If you want to tell me how wrong I am, leave a comment too. That's good. Um, this is just kind of a hobby for me, so I appreciate you coming by, giving it a watch, and pressing the YouTube buttons. Thanks.